Yo, what's up everybody? It's Drewberry. Now today we are going to revisit my tier list and I'm going to show you some of the changes that I have made. You will notice any of the heroes that I have bumped up in rank are going to be highlighted in green, and then any that have dropped are going to be in red, and any new heroes, which we have two to talk about here today, are going to be in blue. Like last time, I've broken it up to Strategist, Vanguard, Duelist, and then I have the full tier list at the end of the video. And on top of that, at the end of the video, I have some proposed balance changes that I would like to see in the game by the time it goes to open beta. Last time from alpha to beta, there were a number of balance changes, which I think made the metagame very healthy. There's just a few that I would like to see, which we'll talk about in a minute, okay? So here we go with the strategists off the top. So strategists, man. Before I said it, that I think they're all really good. And this time around, I think they're all mostly very good. But I know I'm going to get torched for this, but it's just true from my experience in games. Jeff is the outlier, unfortunately. Jeff the Baby Landshark, the new hero to Marvel Rivals. Very exciting to start off. Seemed like his healing output was amazing when he was new and people didn't know to dive him. But once it clicked that you just go right past the Vanguards, the tanks, and you go right for that Jeff, you can take him out with ease. There's a number of heroes that can do that. Even I'm looking at Magneto with his sword ability with Scarlet Witch. Like there's so many that can basically just delete Jeff and make him a non-factor in a fight that it's really hard to give him any higher than a D tier, unfortunately. I feel like he's always a liability on my team. On top of that, he relies on his allies to, jump on the bubbles that he puts out. You can aim it really well and hit them if you need to, but sometimes it's just going to be chilling beside them and they just don't take it. They just don't take the healing. And then it's like, I'm trying to heal you, bro, but you're not helping me out here. So Jeff kind of relies on his teammates a little bit, and he can just be killed just so easily in a team fight that it makes it hard to warrant anything higher for him. And I know his ultimate can seem very good, but sometimes it can be really bad. I was in a match the other day where Jeff used his ultimate, took like 3 of the enemies right before our Scarlet Witch ultimate went off. So she ended up hitting nobody because our Jeff saved the enemy team. So in the right hands, like any hero in this game, he can be good, but it just feels like a weaker strategist to have on your team right now. And I would like to see him get some buffs. So he's going to be in the D tier. Loki has fallen for me. I don't know what it is. I know he's very, very strong. His ultimate's one of the best in the game because it can be anything. And then his runes can be game-changing as well. But there's just something like about his healing output compared to others that hasn't really met the standard. And I find more often than not, he's a bit of a weaker choice, but still a very good hero. And then Luna, Rocket, Mantis, Atom are all like top tier choices. Those are like the healers that you want on your team, in my opinion. Luna does take the crown because of her ultimate. It basically shuts down any incoming damage unless you have a big burst like a Magneto throw or an Iron Man pulse cannon. Like maybe that will be enough, but for the most part, Luna's ultimate just carries her. And then and she's actually just really good. And her peel, she has a freeze as well when you get good with that. So she's excellent. Mantis is also really, really good. She has a sleep, which can be good for incoming Spider-Man or anyone looking to dive the back line. Rocket's got his res. That just makes him so good. And Adam Warlock has reses as well. And when he's paired with a few like Mantis and Star-Lord, it's even better. So yeah, I think they're just all excellent choices for a healer. Even Loki's a very, very solid choice in my opinion. But they all have means of escape. They all have a peel of some sort, right? Even Rocket with his dashes and floating around. Luna with the snow. Luna with the snow, Mantis with the sleep. Adam can even heal very quickly and then res himself if he does go down. Jeff just doesn't have that. That's why he's in the D tier. I'm sorry, everybody. Moving on to the Vanguards. So the new Vanguard that we have in this game is Thor. And at first, I think a lot of people thought Thor was incredibly weak, clunky, difficult to use. You name it, everything out there that's bad about the character was being thrown out. But now I think people have really adjusted to his kit, and he is incredibly strong. He's one of the highest DPS Vanguards that exist in the game. Easy, hands down. Like aside from like Magneto paired with Scarlet Witch and maybe like a very, very good Venom, Thor can be the top damage in a lot of games. On top of that, he has a lot of survivability. He has a dash. He has his own shields that he can give. The only thing that keeps me from really giving him any higher, and honestly A is very incredibly high, but his ultimate can feel a little bit lackluster. It's good in combination with other CC on your team or anything like that. But a lot of the time I'll use it. And even though I'm on top of like 3 squishies, they just get out of the way by the time it falls. I just wish I could drop when I wanted to with that ultimate. But regardless, still a very strong hero. I think a lot stronger than people think he is. And I've been playing him the most in the last week. Venom, Magneto are at the top. I am moving Magneto up. He's just so strong. The shielding, and basically when he's paired with Scarlet Witch, he is the best tank in the game, in my opinion. However, when he's not, he's still good, but it's just, I would put him more like in the A, B tier if he's not with Witch. Whereas, you know, with Witch, man, he will be top damage. If Magneto's doing his job, he's going to be the top damage, which is crazy to say, on top of everything else he can do. And then Groot's just a good option. He's going to root everybody with his ultimate, which is fantastic for setting up for the team. His walls can be very good if you're really good at positioning them, cutting off enemy lanes, or making it just really annoying for the healers to heal their allies when walls are put right in between. That can be quite frustrating. So Groot's a solid option. Doctor Strange, portals, underused, honestly. I have a lot of instances where a Doctor Strange will call out that he's using the portal. We all gather together, we do a big flank, and we probably wipe the enemy team. It's just one of those things in solo queue that doesn't happen often enough, which keeps him from being a higher tier, in my opinion, because the rest of his kit is really good, and his ultimate is amazing. So, Doctor Strange in coordinated, if we were doing a coordinated tier list, man, this would be completely different because he'd be like number 1. I think he might be the best tank in the game in a coordinated situation. But when we're talking about solo queue, ranked, competitive, and I'm not talking about like those top 1% of players that are, you know, Black Panther, Genji type players that just absolutely wreck. No, I'm talking about more just the majority of the player base in the gold, silver, bronze, platinum rank realm. Okay, Doctor Strange is a B. But in terms of the worst heroes in the game, in my opinion, and that is Penny Parker and Hulk, man, I actually play a lot of Hulk. I have a pretty good win rate with Hulk, but I can't deny how clunky he is, and I've said it many times at this point, but he feeds enemy ultimates, and with ultimates being paramount in Marvel Rivals, the most important thing to your character's kit, these two heroes are lackluster. Hulk's ultimate kind of sucks, in my opinion. It doesn't last long enough. It gives him a bunch of health, but if you get bursted down, you're just charging your enemy's ultimates faster. And then even when you grab somebody and you throw them around, you would think that would kill them, but in fact, they're probably going to come out with just as much health as when you grab them because they can be healed while you're doing it, that long animation. So I hate Hulk's ultimate. I like that he turns into the monster. I just feel like there should be some tweaks to when you are the monster Hulk. And then with Penny Parker, she has probably an even worse ultimate in this game. Really, the best part is she gets shielding. That's the best part. And I've seen a lot of people do, like, you know, you spam the mines, and that's the way to do it. You spam mines in like one spot, you get those shields. Okay, sure. But there's a lot of, you know, objectives in this game that require movement, progression throughout the map. And when there is that in this game, it makes it hard to set up those mines and those traps and actually hit somebody with it because they can basically see it. So they just avoid all those spider webs or whatnot. So yeah, her ultimate could definitely use a bit of a boost. And she has the option to deal mines out or swipe. And the swipe is like useless. It pushes people back. Same with Hulk's monster. When you auto attack, it pushes people back. Like, you don't want to push them back. You want to get in there and deal damage to them. If they're being pushed back, they're being saved. So I find it's just because of their ultimates, they end up weak characters. I know in the right hands, these characters are good. I've seen it. I've been a victim of it. But in the general scheme of things, they need the most buffs, in my opinion. And now we have the duelists. So not much has changed, so I'm not going to cover it too much, except for a couple characters here. One being Spider-Man. I had Spider-Man in A tier. I put him up to the crown tier now. Yeah, he's just completely busted. Somebody who's good at Spider-Man, and I thought that would only be those higher tier players in the game, you know, the master rank people. No, I'm seeing it even at gold or platinum or silver. Like, there's every now and then you're going to run into somebody that just plays exclusively Spider-Man. And when that is the case, and you're a healer, you're gonna die. He just has a combo that deletes a squishy hero in this game from 0 to 100 if they don't have any additional support or focus fire from their team. you can counter Spider-Man. There are ways to counter Spider-Man, but the good ones will avoid those counters, get the kills that they need, just delete somebody and swing right out. And that's it. See you later. I also find his ultimate a little overtuned. It's really, really strong. He gets shielding. He deals a lot of damage. You can't really burst him down by the time it finishes. So Spider-Man, I know he's tough to use. I can't play him appropriately. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that see Spider-Man feed all the time, and they're terrible on their teams. But the good ones make it so that the character is actually really, really strong. Hela and Punisher are still at the top. Man, they're just really good DPS heroes. They're just like the solid options that you want to see on your team. I don't need to say much more about them. You know how good they are if you've played the game or if you've seen any footage. Hela just snipes squishies, and Punisher is like a Swiss Army knife. He can just do it all. So excellent choices. Scarlet Witch, Star-Lord, they are still in A tier. They're also both excellent, deal good damage, have a little bit of CC with Scarlet Witch, both amazing ultimates, good heroes. Storm is one that I kind of slept on, admittedly. And I think a lot of people, maybe at the beginning when we were doing a tier list, we had a little bit of an alpha bias because Storm was one of the weaker heroes in the alpha, believe it or not. And she didn't even get that many chains. I think it was mostly a meta shift, or maybe people just waking up to Storm's value, myself included. She's excellent. She's very good to have on a team. She does fall prey to Hela, which I think keeps her in check at the A tier. But besides that, you know, she can do work, and her ultimate, honestly, if I did just an ultimate tier list, let me know if you'd ever want to see that. Man, it's probably the best one in the game. It's up there. It's got to be top 3 ultimates in Marvel Rivals. It's so strong, and it deletes so many people. It's the worst thing to hear. Speaking of ultimates that are terrible to hear if they're on the enemy team, Darkchild with Magic. Man, Magic is pretty good as well. She's really stood out. Whenever she ults, I always just think my allies are dead. That's it. I'm out of here. We're all about to die. Unless I can really get some good focus fire on Magic, she's just going to go ham. Where she's weaker, though, is she doesn't have that survivability on her own without the ultimate. So I find if you have a couple of allies that are coordinated, they realize Magic's in the backline, you can turn around, you can burst her. She's out of the fight. So Magic is excellent. She's got a good survivability generally. She's got even a ranged ability. She's one of the better melee DPS in the game, in my opinion. So I really like Magic now. And Iron Man also, same with Storm, is going up there. He just deals a lot of damage. He's, you know, if I was really ranking these in the A tier, like best to worst, he would be at the later end of things. Because I don't find him as effective as Storm. He doesn't help the team out. He just deals a lot of damage. And if held in check, then he's a liability sometimes. But his ultimate's great. He deals a lot. He's just a good hero. He's a good little flyer, Iron Man. And then you got Namor in the same spot. Namor's good, but he's just not good enough. I think there's just always better options, unfortunately. But he's got some good damaging abilities, and the turret's just dealing damage without you having to do anything is kind of forgiving if you're a DPS. Like all of a sudden your Namor did 25k damage, but I really wonder how much he did himself compared to his little octopus friends. And lastly, the Black Panther. I'm going to put I still got Black Panther at the bottom of the duelists, but I am going to put a little bit more respect on his name and putting him in the C tier rather than trash because, yeah, man, I think I play a lot of Black Panther to good success too. He's a strong hero. It's just there's a lot of instances where he's not going to work out. And if you don't have healers really helping you out, going the extra mile to help you out too, because they don't know where you're dashing to. There's just a lot of variables that make it difficult to pull off with this character. And if you're looking at those really professional Overwatch players and you're being like, this tier list is trash because Black Panther isn't S tier, man, it just doesn't work like that in most ranks, the general population. Most players are going to struggle with Black Panther. That's just from my experience, from what I've seen. Okay, and this is what the tier list looks like when we put it all together. And I know this is kind of crazy, but I really think the game is very well balanced. And that's why a lot of them are in the A tier and the S, like the crown tier up at the top. There's even the B tier are good heroes. So there's really only 4 that I identify as on the weaker end of things. But generally, I think they did a much better job at balancing the beta than the alpha was balanced. There was definitely some weaker heroes in the alpha and overtuned ones. And now we're finding a better sweet spot. And I think it's only going to get better for the open beta. So Very, very cool to see, but I still would make some balance changes. So let's check those out. All right, so here are some of my proposed balance changes. Okay, I'm not an expert. I'm not a developer or anything like this. This is just based on my anecdotal experiences in Marvel Rivals for the last 2 weeks, playing crazy amount of hours. And this is some of the little things that I'd like to see. Let's start with the buffs. So Hulk, I would like to see an extra 10 seconds on the duration of his Monster Hulk. I want to actually be the Monster Hulk and not just have my time expired. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't feel like it lasts long enough. And, you know, let them just burst me down that 1500 health if we need to. I'd rather lose all my health being the Monster Hulk than just run out of time. Another thing is his leap. I would love for it to just do a little bit of damage in an AoE range on impact when he leaps in. Then you can kind of use that leap to more effect rather than just getting in, getting out. Maybe we could use it as an actual damaging ability and try and snipe with it. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And when you actually hit a flyer out of the air and they drop down, they should take damage as well. I think that'd be cool. And then for Penny Parker, I think it would be really cool if her ultimate would actually stun with the swipe. I don't know what the rate of fire, how quickly you can actually spam the swipe, but if you could use it and stun for 1 second, I think it'd be really, really strong. And then if we increased her shielding slightly, it'd make her a really good option. The mines are already pretty good on the ultimate, and just make this swipe a little bit more relevant. And maybe it should just deal more damage and maybe not knockback or whatever, or knockback even further. You could choose any one of those options to make it more effective, more interesting, because it's just not right now, in my opinion. All right, Jeff. So how would I change Jeff? Well, honestly, I think his healing output is good, but his survivability is trash. He has this hide and seek ability where he dives into the ground and he's just his little dorsal fin that's swimming around, and it's adorable, but it's almost irrelevant unless you're using it to get back to the fight from the spawn or anything like that, or really trying to maybe kite an enemy as they attack you. It doesn't really do enough, and you can't do anything when you're in that hide and seek state. You can't use any of your healing. So I feel like if I can't heal, I can't use my abilities when I'm hiding and seeking, well, then I should be able to survive a little better. So increased bonus move speed and added slight damage reduction. So less damage coming in, and I'm faster. I'm a fast little swimmer. I think that'd be a lot more fun for Jeff. Namor can now double jump. I know this is a spicy one, but hear me out. So Namor can actually float down when you hold the jump button because he's got his little wings on his feet. I don't know the lore behind that or what the name is, but regardless, okay? So I think it would be really cool if you could just double jump because he's got those little wings. He does a little extra double jump just like Spider-Man can do, but for Namor, so that you can, be more of a flyer almost with Namor, have vertical leverage so that you can rain down those spears. I legit think that would be all it needs, or all it takes for him to be a little bit more of a legit option. Then you could also, when you come out of the bubble, you could do a jump. There's just a lot of ways you can maybe make use of that ability. I think it'd be cool to have for Namor's kit, add a double jump. Do it. Okay, let's talk about the Black Panther. So this is a spicy one. So I think you could do a lot of things with this kit, but this is what I'm proposing. On his auto attacks, he gains a small amount of movement speed after hitting an enemy. It does not stack. So let's say it was a 10% increase of movement speed after you hit. That'll last for, I don't know, a couple seconds, 5 seconds, whatever you want to call it, whatever works balance wise. And you can't stack that. So if you hit twice, you're not getting 20% or 20 seconds or whatever it may be. Okay. You're just hitting and you get extra duration. You can get that duration back by hitting again and keep going. Just gives him a little bit more agency over actually using his auto attacks, sticking to an enemy, rather than just full combo character where you just slash, do a little twirl, try to get out of the fight, go back in when cooldowns are back. Make it so that his auto attacks are a little bit more relevant, in my opinion. I think that's all he needs. That's all he needs. Hela, so slightly decrease the rate of fire on her auto attacks. It's literally just so that the squishies don't go, wait, where did that shot come from? And then you're dead. It's a really feels bad feeling. They already decreased the damage from afar. I think let's slow down the auto attack so that, yes, you can still get sniped, but you might have a little bit of time to react, get in a heal or something like that. And I'm not saying nerf it to the ground. I'm talking very marginal decrease to her rate of fire. That's it. For Spider-Man, I think he shouldn't be able to move when he's using his ultimate. Right now, he can use it. He gets a bunch of shields. He's hard to take down, and he can stick with you by moving as he's dealing out all those webs. It's fun to use as Spider-Man, I won't lie. But at the same time, it feels bad when you're a squishy or a healer and you can get out of the way. You use a dash or something, but Spider-Man can still hold on to you. He even stuns when he uses his ult. So why don't just have him, when he uses it, he's stuck in one spot as he uses it. That way we can turn around, we can maybe shoot him down or something like that. It makes it just a little bit easier to deal with. Storm is kind of the same, where I want her to be able to just activate her ultimate where she is. She just starts in tornado mode at the second you click it. Right now she can disappear from the fight, not take any damage whatsoever, and then choose where she wants to spawn. And the time you can take to make that decision is so long between when you actually click your ultimate and then you drop that tornado, literally blinking towards all the backline healers and killing them. That's the way to use the Storm ultimate. It's crazy broken. It needs to be nerfed. And I think if she had to reposition herself in a more dangerous spot to use her ultimate and it still deals out the same damage, same effects, same movement, all that stuff, same shielding, I think that'd be much more fair. It would take a little bit more risk on the Storm player's end to get full value out of her ult. For the Punisher, turret mode and ultimate are no longer CC immune. Right now, he can't even be marked by Black Panther. Like literally nothing can happen to the Punisher when he uses both those abilities. And I think if you took that away, you made it a little bit easier to counter, it wouldn't feel as bad. He already deals a lot of damage with his other abilities, so I'm not going to take away from Punisher too much, but I feel like this would keep him a little bit more in check. And lastly, Magneto, he deals so much damage with the sword. I hate to say that this should be a nerf. I know a lot of people won't like it, but come on, man. When your tank is your top damage by like 10k because he gets an extra ability off of a team up, it's a little bit much. So I think we could slightly take back on the damage there for Magneto. All right, that's it. So those are my proposed balance changes in my tier list. I know a lot of people are going to hate one thing or another. It's so subjective, man. It's so subjective. So take for it what you will. You know, I had a great time playing this closed beta. I can't wait. I can't wait till this is available for everybody. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so much fun. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll catch you guys next time.